Most games, just like Roblox Doors, have deep theories and mysteries that may not be very well known to the public eye. We'll be going over 7 of Roblox Doors' unsolved mysteries. Comment down below what you think about some of these. Let's discuss and get right into it. Number 1, the library. The title may sound generic as just the library, but there is a deep mystery that does lie in this old abandoned room. Not only can several entities such as Jack, Hyde, Timothy, and Glitch spawn in along with Figure, but those are actually the only entities that can only spawn in this room and interfere with Figure. That's right, Rush, Ambush, Seek, Halt, Eyes, Windows, and Screech are not able to spawn in the library for some bizarre reason. Now, it makes sense for Rush and Ambush because they usually go through the hallways and need long stretches of room in order to perform their actions, but how come Eyes isn't allowed to interfere with Figure? Eyes doesn't need a lot of room in order to spawn in and cause problems for many players, so it makes no sense why he can't spawn in the library along with Figure and the others. Windows as well, especially since the entity does not physically interact with the player nor any other entities as well. I can see why Figure doesn't want to interact with Screech though, because I think everyone can agree that he's annoying though, so that's definitely a given. Number 2, Shadow. Shadow is an entity that not many people have encountered yet, and that's okay. There is a 1 out of 2,000 chance of running into him as a jump scare, but did you know that he also holds a very big mystery deep within the game? It actually comes down to simply the name of the entity. There is no official name for Shadow according to Doors Wiki, as the developers of Doors have not referenced the entity as Shadow in any way. The asset name for the entity deep in the game files is actually called creepy_dude, so they don't even reference it in there as well. The entity was unofficially named Shadow because, well, what do you think? He looks like one if you ask me. And no, not that Shadow, silly. Believe it or not, Window is another entity that does not have an official name as well, due to his file name being named Sally, which is a bit strange. Anywho, there is another smaller mystery along with the name that the entity holds, and it basically comes down to who he is exactly. Most shadowy figures are in most cases based on another character or individual, but it doesn't seem that anything is official for Shadow as of yet. Maybe they aren't based on any characters or designs, who even knows? All we know though is that whenever this entity shows up, boy can he really scare some people, especially considering how rare it is to get him. Number 3, Unused Songs. Yeah, that's right. With Roblox Doors offering many published songs in the game, some of which can actually be bops, not going to lie, there are actually some unused songs deep within the game's files. We have talked about 2 of them in previous videos, which does include Stress, which was supposed to be a prototype soundtrack version of the Heart mini game, and also Figure Enraged soundtrack, which could have been a prototype song for Door 100. But there was actually a 3rd song found recently called You Can't Hide, and this is what it sounded like. This track was played in a secret backrooms area from Lightning Splash's other game, Ragdoll Universe, but they decided not to use this in Roblox Doors for some unknown reason. I mean, it would be cool to see them add this one in, possibly as a courtyard special to help with the peaceful vibes in the area, but that's just me, man. Regardless, it is always a big mystery as to why they decided against these unused songs, but they're still in the game files, so if they ever decided to surprise us in the future, they can do so. Number 4, the removed items. We have talked about them in previous videos, but we are talking about the crucifix and the skeleton key as the 2 main deleted items weeks before the game's release. The mystery behind is actually why they ended up getting deleted from the game, especially since they did appear to make the game a lot more easier for players to progress through. There was also beta footage found of the crucifix being used on an entity, and it seemed to have a very interesting approach compared to most items in the game. One could say the reason for the removal of these items was because they would have made the game way too easy and less scary, which gives the game the current charm as we know, but we may never truly know the reason why unless the developers give a hint. Some players think that these items may be reintroduced in a future Doors update, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Number 5, Figures War. Everybody should know who the game's biggest antagonist or bad guy is, but this entity also does hold a relatively interesting mystery that has not been officially solved yet. Every time that the entity roars or sometimes groans, a light will be emitting from its mouth periodically. I don't know, Doc, I don't think there's a light bulb in there, but something is definitely odd about this one. Now, it is theorized that Figure is able to do this light in order to help detect players as echolocation, but that's not how light works exactly with that statement. So it is unknown as to why or even how he is able to light up like that. Nonetheless, it is a pretty cool feature of the entity, though it does probably have its uses for the big guy. Number 6, the Red Room. Most of the rooms in Roblox Doors can be normal, some may even be boring as heck as well. But very rarely, out of a 1 out of 2,000 chance, a Jack will spawn behind a door and trigger an event known as the Red Room. It will appear completely red, but what's even more creepier is that the rain outside will be a blood red color, remaining red indefinitely as long as you stay in the room as it fades back to its normal color. Though this is a really cool occurrence, there's not really an explanation behind this mystery. How is Jack able to spawn this event, or, an even better question, is this even a reference to something? It looks like Jack has some deeper powers than we initially thought, especially since it could be possible that he has something even bigger planned for a future Doors update. Number 7, the statue. This specific statue in the courtyard is oddly interesting, especially since it does represent that of an angelic character. We have joked about this in the past, saying that this statue could have been the guardian of the hotel or a reference for something related to the game, but there hasn't been any major theories behind this. Why else would they have a random statue in the courtyard?
I don't know.
It could have something to do with the hotel perhaps. But let's talk about some of the mysteries down below. Smash like and subscribe, and perhaps one of them will be solved. Goodbye.